Hey everyone, welcome back to Prime Field. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into one of the biggest recruiting decisions in women's basketball this year. Agot Makeer. The five-star recruit with extraordinary talent and versatility recently made headlines by choosing South Carolina over a perennial powerhouse UConn. This decision sent shockwaves through the recruiting world, as UConn has traditionally been a destination program for top talent, but Makeer had her reasons, and today we're breaking down the 5 key factors that likely influenced her choice to join Dawn, Staley's Gamecocks, instead of Gino Auriemma's Huskies. The recruiting battle between these two women's basketball giants wasn't just about basketball. It was about fit, culture, relationships, and vision for the future. For years, UConn dominated these recruiting battles, but South Carolina's rise has changed the landscape dramatically. Makeer's decision represents this shifting power dynamic in women's college basketball and gives us insight into what today's elite recruits value most. So let's break down exactly why one of the nation's most sought-after prospects chose to take her talents to Columbia rather than Storrs. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's get into it. First up, the coaching relationship. When recruits visit campuses and meet with coaching staffs, chemistry matters tremendously. For Makeer, the connection with South Carolina's legendary head coach Dawn Staley was reportedly immediate and profound. Staley, a Hall of Famer and Olympic gold medalist herself, has built a reputation not just for winning, but for developing genuine relationships with her players. Sources close to Makeer's recruitment process indicate that Staley took a personal interest in Makeer early on, making her feel valued not just as a basketball talent, but as a person with goals beyond the court. This approach resonated deeply with Makeer, who mentioned in interviews that she was looking for coaches who understood her as more than just a player. The South Carolina staff, led by Staley, invested significant time in building rapport with Makeer and her family. Beyond just Staley, the entire South Carolina coaching staff made concerted efforts to connect with Makeer. Assistant coaches attended numerous games, maintained consistent communication, and demonstrated genuine interest in her development as both an athlete and a student. This collaborative approach created a sense of community and support that proved compelling. Compare this to UConn's approach. While Gino Auriemma is undoubtedly one of the greatest coaches in basketball history, his more direct, sometimes demanding style might not connect with every recruit. Former UConn players often speak about Auriemma's challenging coaching style that, while effective, requires a certain personality type to thrive under. The personal coaching dynamic can make or break a recruiting decision, and in this case, Staley's more relationship-focused approach seems to have won out. Multiple sources have indicated that Makeer and Staley formed a bond that extended beyond basketball strategy to include discussions about life goals, personal development, and long-term aspirations, creating a foundation of trust that ultimately proved decisive. Let's be real. Both UConn and South Carolina are elite programs with championship pedigrees. UConn has their 11 national championships, a truly unprecedented dynasty in the sport. But looking at recent history paints a different picture. South Carolina is the defending national champion and has been utterly dominant in recent years. They've established themselves as the new standard in women's college basketball with a physical, defensive-minded approach that has proven highly effective in tournament play. The Gamecocks have won 2 of the last 6 NCAA championships, reached multiple Final Fours, and consistently ranked among the top teams in the nation. Their home arena, Colonial Life Arena, regularly sells out with over 18,000 passionate fans, creating an electric atmosphere that few programs can match. When we dig deeper into the championship potential at South Carolina, the numbers are even more impressive. Under Staley's leadership, the program has maintained a top 5 ranking for much of the past 5 seasons. Their defensive efficiency statistics are particularly notable, often leading the nation in opponent field goal percentage and rebounds per game, key metrics that translate to tournament success. The roster composition at South Carolina also likely factored into Makeer's decision. The Gamecocks have successfully built their program around versatile, athletic players who complement each other's strengths. With several key contributors returning next season and an impressive incoming recruiting class, the team is positioned to contend for championships throughout Makeer's collegiate career. For top recruits like Makeer, the opportunity to be the final piece of a championship puzzle can be particularly appealing. While UConn remains excellent and consistently reaches the later rounds of the NCAA tournament, they haven't won a championship since 2016, and South Carolina has emerged as the more dominant force in the immediate present. Every elite recruit wants to compete for championships, and right now, South Carolina offers perhaps the clearest path to cutting down the nets. Makeer herself has expressed championship aspirations in interviews, stating that winning at the highest level is among her primary goals. The chance to join a program at the absolute peak of its powers, with a proven championship formula already in place, likely played a significant role in her decision to choose South Carolina over UConn. Perhaps most importantly, Makeer specifically highlighted South Carolina's support for black women in sports as a critical factor in her decision. "What they do for black women in sports really resonates with me," Makeer said in a post-commitment interview. This statement offers profound insight into her decision-making process and values. Under Dawn Staley's leadership, South Carolina has become more than just a basketball program. It's a cultural powerhouse that celebrates and uplifts black women in a sport where representation matters deeply. Staley herself is one of the most prominent black female coaches in college sports, a trailblazer who has used her platform to advocate for greater diversity and opportunities. The program has built deep connections within the Columbia community, particularly among black families and youth, creating a supportive environment that extends far beyond basketball. South Carolina games feature a diverse, enthusiastic fan base that reflects the team's cultural impact. These cultural aspects of the program aren't accidental. They're intentionally cultivated. Staley has frequently spoken about her mission to create opportunities and visibility for black women in basketball, both as players and coaches. The program regularly hosts community events, youth clinics, and mentorship opportunities that strengthen these connections and reinforce their commitment to representation. South Carolina's team culture also emphasizes celebrating players' individuality and backgrounds. Former players often cite this inclusive atmosphere as a key factor in their development, both on and off the court. The program has created a space where athletes can embrace their identities while pursuing athletic excellence, a balance that can be particularly meaningful for young recruits. The university's location in Columbia, South Carolina, a city with a significant black population and rich cultural heritage, provides additional community support and connection. This environment offers opportunities for engagement, mentorship, and belonging that align with many recruits' personal values and priorities. For Makeer, joining a program where she could see herself represented in the coaching staff, team culture, and community support system likely created a sense of belonging that transcended basketball. This cultural alignment can be especially meaningful for young athletes making decisions that will shape their collegiate experience and future careers, and may have been the deciding factor that tipped the scales in South Carolina's favor. Makeer's game is built on versatility. At 6 feet 4 inches, she possesses a rare combination of size, skill, and athleticism. She can handle the ball like a guard, shoot from distance with consistency, attack the rim off the dribble, and defend multiple positions on the court, making her the prototype of the modern basketball player. South Carolina's system under Staley has increasingly emphasized positional versatility, with players like Aaliyah Boston demonstrating how multidimensional talents can thrive in their program. The Gamecocks don't pigeonhole players into rigid positional roles, instead allowing their skills to dictate how they're utilized on the court. Looking at Makeer's playing style in South Carolina's system, the fit seems natural. Her ability to play inside-out complements South Carolina's balanced approach to offense, while her defensive potential aligns perfectly with the Gamecocks' emphasis on lockdown defense. When we analyze South Carolina's offensive sets more deeply, we see a system that prioritizes player movement, floor spacing, and multiple options, ideal for a versatile talent like Makeer. The Gamecocks have successfully developed several positionless players who operate effectively in multiple roles, suggesting they have the coaching expertise to maximize Makeer's unique skill set. South Carolina's player development program has received particular praise in recent years. Their strength and conditioning program, led by experienced staff with backgrounds in developing professional athletes, has consistently helped players reach new levels of athleticism and durability. The basketball-specific skill development emphasizes both refinement of existing strengths and addressing weaknesses, creating well-rounded players prepared for professional careers. The program's track record of preparing players for the WNBA is especially impressive. South Carolina has produced numerous first-round draft picks who have transitioned successfully to the professional level, suggesting their development approach translates effectively to the next stage of players' careers. For a talent like Makeer with professional aspirations, this proven pathway likely factored significantly into her decision. UConn, while certainly adaptable, has traditionally been more structured in their positional assignments. Their system, though incredibly successful, might not have offered the same freedom for Makeer to develop all facets of her game simultaneously. The Huskies typically define roles more specifically, which can be advantageous for some players, but potentially limiting for others seeking to maintain maximum versatility. Additionally, South Carolina's recent success with players sharing Makeer's physical profile and skill set provided concrete examples of how she might be utilized within their system. Seeing former and current Gamecocks with similar attributes thriving likely made it easier for Makeer to envision her own success in Columbia. Sometimes the decision comes down to finding the program that will best showcase and develop your particular talents, and South Carolina appears to have made a compelling case that they are precisely that program for Makeer. Finally, Makeer describes herself as incredibly competitive with a relentless work ethic. In interviews, she's mentioned wanting to be pushed daily to reach her full potential, surrounded by teammates who share her drive and dedication. South Carolina's program, known for its intense practices and high standards, aligned perfectly with her desire to be challenged. The Gamecocks' practice sessions are famously demanding, with Staley creating competitive situations that simulate game pressure and push players beyond their comfort zones. Beyond practice intensity, the competitive environment extends to playing time. South Carolina consistently recruits top talent, meaning nothing is guaranteed. Players must earn their minutes through performance and work ethic. This meritocracy appealed to Makeer's confidence in her abilities and drive to prove herself. The competitive atmosphere of South Carolina is carefully structured to maximize the player development. Practice drills frequently pit teammates against each other in scenarios designed to increase intensity and focus. Former players have described the environment as challenging but supportive, demanding excellence while providing the tools and guidance necessary to achieve it. South Carolina's practice facilities represent another aspect of their competitive advantage. The program has invested significantly in state-of-the-art training technology, recovery resources, and performance analytics. These tools create an environment where players can maximize every aspect of their development, from technical skills to physical conditioning to mental preparation. The SEC Conference also offers a rigorous competitive landscape, with teams like LSU, Tennessee, and Texas A&M providing elite competition throughout the season. This challenging conference schedule helps prepare players for the intensity of NCAA tournament play. The variety of playing styles within the conference, from up-tempo offenses to grinding defensive schemes, creates diverse challenges that develop adaptability and resilience. South Carolina's non-conference scheduling philosophy emphasizes playing the nation's best teams, regardless of potential win-loss implications. This commitment to elite competition ensures that players are consistently tested against varying systems and talents. For a competitor like Makeer seeking maximal development, this approach to scheduling likely resonated strongly. The competitive culture extends beyond just basketball, encompassing academic expectations and community involvement as well. South Carolina emphasizes excellence in all areas, creating a holistic approach to competition and achievement that prepares players for success beyond their playing careers. While UConn certainly offers a competitive environment as well, something about South Carolina's particular culture of competition clearly resonated more strongly with Makeer. She saw an opportunity to be pushed daily by elite teammates and coaches who would demand her absolute best, helping her develop into the player she aspires to become in an environment that matched her competitive spirit and ambition. When you look at all these factors together, the coaching relationship, championship potential, cultural significance, playing style fit, and competitive environment, South Carolina simply checked more boxes for Makeer. Her decision represents a thoughtful evaluation of what matters most to her development as both a player and a person. This doesn't diminish UConn's program whatsoever. The Huskies remain an elite destination for top talent, with a legendary coach and storied tradition that continues to attract many of the nation's best players. Recruiting is personal, and different programs connect with different players for different reasons. What works perfectly for one recruit might not resonate with another. Makeer's decision also highlights the evolving landscape of women's college basketball, where power is increasingly distributed among a wider range of programs. While traditional powerhouses like UConn and Tennessee once dominated recruiting almost unchallenged, programs like South Carolina, Stanford, and others have created compelling alternatives that offer different paths to success and fulfillment. For young recruits watching Makeer's decision, it reinforces the importance of finding the right fit rather than simply choosing the most historically successful program. Each athlete's journey is unique, with personal priorities and values that should guide their decision-making process. For South Carolina, landing Makeer represents another major recruiting win that should help maintain their position at the top of women's college basketball. She joins an impressive incoming class that positions the Gamecocks for continued success in the years ahead. Her versatile skill set could be the perfect complement to the team's existing strengths, potentially elevating them to even greater heights. For Makeer herself, the decision marks the beginning of an exciting new chapter. Her journey from promising prospect to college commit has been marked by hard work, dedication, and thoughtful consideration of her future. Now, she'll have the opportunity to prove herself at the highest level of collegiate competition, developing her game while contributing to one of the nation's premier programs. What do you think of Makeer's decision? Do you see her thriving at South Carolina? Could she be the next great star to emerge from Staley's program? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with all our content here at Prime Field. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.